Welcome to the Office of Employer Initiatives Virtual Conference. I am Christina D. Whitty, and I am the Outreach and Development Representative for the Gulf Coast and Southeast Texas regions. A few housekeeping items before we begin. Except for the speakers for this session, all microphones are muted. Additionally, we ask that if you are not presenting, that you turn off your camera to preserve bandwidth. This conference will be recorded and is subject to the state's open records laws. I would now like to introduce the Office of Employer Initiatives Director, Mary York. Mary?
Good morning. Thanks, Christina. Well, good morning to everyone. If you were with us yesterday, welcome back. I hope you found the content to be interesting and insightful. I know I was inspired by some of the stories we heard. In fact, I think we had quite a few sort of side messages going, and it got a little teary-eyed even for a moment for some of us. So I hope that you were also inspired, and I can't wait to hear what we're going to learn about today. If you're joining us for the first time today, of course, I want to welcome you too. I think you'll find the resources shared by our team and our panelists can serve as important tools your organization can leverage to build your workforce and support additional investment in your community. And I also, of course, want to thank our panelists for taking the time to share their experiences and successes using TWC. I think it's such an important thing for us to be able to gain ideas from each other, hear what's worked for communities, maybe in some cases what hasn't worked so well for communities, but then how they've been able to pivot and adapt. And in some cases, the programs have even been able to pivot and adapt or help them do so. So looking forward to hearing from them today. So I know that Commissioner Alvarez is supposed to be joining us in just a moment. I don't think that he is on quite yet today, but I know he's looking forward to logging on and talking with you. And I will, while he's not on, give you kind of a little anecdote. He has been an amazing supporter of the Office of Employer Initiatives, which is kind of interesting in the sense that, you know, he is the commissioner. He was reappointed by Governor Abbott in March 2017 to continue serving as the commissioner representing labor for the Texas Workforce Commission. And I think he might be joining us right now as I'm speaking. But Commissioner Alvarez has this amazing passion for helping the state of Texas, and he sees the link and the importance in supporting employers. So labor, so employees, and let's face it, you know, if we're lucky, we're all employees, can succeed in the state and really have not just a job, but a career. And that is his goal, you know, his North Star, and he does an amazing job representing that and representing the interest of the more than 14 million Texas workers with respect to TWC services. He ensures that their concerns are considered in all commission actions. So Commissioner Alvarez, are you with us?
Yes, can you see me?
I can see you now. I can see you now. So thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. I've been informed that most of the time when I do these virtual meetings, I got to sit on a pillow because of my height. So
well, to be
I had
fair,
to go get one.
Yeah, don't tell anybody, but I boosted up my chair before I got
Good. So I, along with my snowman, are joining you this morning. That's the only Christmas decoration we have here in the office. No, but all seriousness, thank you, Mary, for allowing me to be a part of today's discussion. So yesterday, I had an opportunity to hear from some of the panelists like Larry McManus, of course, Reba Bacon. How cool was that to hear testimonials from some of the students that you all serve? That was awesome. And then I want to thank Matt for the shout out. Matt's right. He knows that I continue to say that our Office of Employer Initiatives and the Texas Workforce Commission, along with our partners, our ISD partners and our EDCs, Ken is part of that, and of course our community colleges, touch the lives of so many people. And it's so cool when you can go somewhere and you can see the fruits of what you all have done while people are purchasing Christmas gifts with money they've earned through the training that they've received from us. But enough of that. Let me talk about some of the great things that people that know me know that I love to be the cheerleader of some of the great programs that we have. Now, I would be remiss, I heard yesterday when the chairman referenced yesterday, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that the Texas Workforce Commission has been overwhelmed with the number of individuals that are calling the agency wanting to know the status of their unemployment insurance benefits or just any concerns regarding UI. But we're way more than that. In 2016, we started seeing other programs coming under the Texas Workforce Commission umbrella, like vocational rehab. JET came over from the Texas Comptroller's office. How cool was that? AEL was new to the agency. At that time, we all know, oh my God, Anson. And now we're under the leadership of Mahalia, who you'll hear later on today. But the reason that I share all of these programs is because one thing that makes us so unique compared to all the other agencies around the country, is that we've been able to blend services. And we have been so innovative. I mean, think about it. We now are working, and I think that's why Mary, and I know that's why Mary has Mahalia on, and people like Robert Andrade and folks like Ann Fan that are going to be on today, because we're going to talk about how we've blended services. Just in the short time that Mary has been in this role, I have seen so many other things that have actually come into place. This conference, I've seen it grown. Of course, we've had some great people that have overseen this department. We've had great people, starting with Commissioner Demerson, and of course, we all know Dale Robertson did a great job. But Mary, we're very fortunate to have folks like you and the team that you've assembled to take us to the next level. And working with our employers, I heard that multiple times yesterday, how TWC, along with our community partners, our EDCs, and of course our nonprofits, were working together, thinking about ideas. Now, I understand that we're under challenging times with COVID, but it has allowed us to be so creative in what we've done. Our workforce specialist teams have done a tremendous job of talking to employers and reaching out to everyone, talking about the services that we have, how Office of Employer Initiatives are now touching the lives of people that have been incarcerated. This is Lee College Incarceration Center, who purchased through the JET grant, applied for a JET grant for a CDL simulator. That's amazing that what you guys have been able to do. And then some of the programs that are taking place. Now, I know yesterday the chairman referenced Texas Tech, but I have to give a shout out to Texas A&M. You know, Texas A&M has a cybersecurity program working closely with Mary and Ann Fan, and of course, some of the other folks around the state, teaching high school kids, giving them this credential and this program, allowing them to pick up a skill. Now, I know Ken out there in one of my EDC partners talks about the value of CTE. Look, the three commissioners know that there is a value in career and technology and education. We also know that that's what employers are looking at. I carry this book, and for people that know me, I refereed college football for 15 years, and I carried an NCAA rule book for 15 years in my back pocket. What I carry now is the tri-agency report. And of course, we have a revision to that, an update to what we've done. And we have all kept in line with what was actually implemented. The Texas Workforce Agency has reached out to populations that were at some time, we could say in the past, disenfranchised. Think about what the Office of Employer Initiatives are doing for people that are transitioning out of military service. Mary will tell you, and so will her staff. Think about what we're doing for those individuals like what they had, and Christina DeWitty was there when I talk about those individuals that are women transitioning out of military service that are working at S&B Infrastructure and getting their training now through the IRAP program. And then of course, we have all of these individuals now. We have a program in South Texas that Mary's working on for these high school kids that will actually be bused, and hopefully it'll work. They'll be bused into a local hospital, training on the equipment that's there at the hospital. What better equipment than to train with that and hopefully receive a credential? And that's with the grant that Mary had, this CARES skills grant that she that she has out there with the help of my commissioners, my fellow commissioners, Chair Daniel, and of course, Aaron Demerson. Great folks to be supporting Mary and her team at this time. But at the end of the day, we couldn't have been successful if it hadn't been for each and every one of you that are on the call. My God, we have an apprenticeship program in South Texas that teaches individuals how to make beer. And then we have something here with Paul Fletcher, where we have an apprenticeship program where they're teaching individuals on window glazing, the first of its kind, or in the Dallas area where we're teaching individuals in a program on how to take care of children, a child care apprenticeship program. Ladies and gentlemen, we're listening to you all. Let us be creative. With Mary's help and with the help of Courtney Arbor and Ed Cerna, we've been able to put out programs where we now have allowed our boards the ability to use some of their funding to actually pay for things like broadband service. We know that's a #1 priority, maybe in the legislature right now. That's all I hear, that apprenticeship and CTE. That all comes from listening to stakeholders like you. The best way to promote the trades is for you all to continue doing the great work you do. I'm not going to go to a community college or to a municipality or to a city because of an ad that I hear. I'm going to go there because of what you all have put in place. The creativity of things that you guys have been able to do. You know, in South Texas, I know of a program where every 5th grader, with the help of our agency, every 5th grader now is able to learn how to code the town from Mission, Texas. And then I hear about all the great things that are happening in Texarkana, the Panhandle, and of course, in El Paso. So even though right now we're experiencing some of the worst times that this state has experienced in this nation, we are doing a pretty good job in Texas. And that's a true testament from all of you that are on the line and those that unfortunately couldn't make it today. Think about it. It took all of us to do what we're doing. It took all of us to get Elon Musk to move to Texas. It took all of us to get the folks from Hewlett Packard to come to Texas, and SpaceX to come to Texas, and the various LNGs to come to Texas, and Red River Steel, and all these other companies that are looking at coming into Texas. It's because they hear about the workforce and how you have prepared the workforce for tomorrow. One of the things that I take so much pride in, is the fact that I can say that the Texas workforce boards, our economic development partners, our community colleges, our ISDs and nonprofits have always been proactive. Think about it. Think of all the companies that have been coming over to Texas as a result of we having a trained and skilled workforce and being able to promote the trades, as I said earlier. The best marketing tool for what we do is what the product that we put out. So when I address programs out there and I talk about skilled workers, my apprenticeship schools, my union schools, my community colleges, it's interesting because when I talk to them and I go to other states and they say, at the age of 6, we get adult learners here, and Aaron was with me at a conference when we had to go to Mississippi, and we had a company that was interested in coming into Texas. And they were saying, what we do for our adult learners is, we prepare them to do NCCER, and they take a little bit of forklift driving, and we give them a little math, and then they're ready to transition into the workforce. And I said, I love what you all do in this state. But let me tell you, in Texas, we do all those things that you've just referenced in middle school and in high school. Where else can you go and hear that we have programs, either pre-apprenticeship programs or registered apprenticeship programs where we're teaching kids, like in San Antonio, how to build tiny homes? That's amazing. A true testament for what you're doing. Again, we appreciate the fact that we do not solely own what we put out. We share those ideas. That's what Texans do. That's why prior to COVID-19, our unemployment rate was 3.4, and we were like that for 8 consecutive months. Best place to do business. And I know Commissioner Demerson will tell you that. But we continue to put out great products, especially during dire times like what we're experiencing. Mary and her team being able to train everyone, being able to ask for all our money to come back, de-obligate, and prioritize where that money should be. And Chairman talked about the application. We heard from you, and we heard, can we condense, shorten up the application and expedite it? And we did that. We have programs right now. I'm one of the things that I'm super proud of. And again, it's because of blended services that we have. You know, we've always sponsored for the last couple of years, we have sponsored First Robotics, Best Robotics in the past for the brightest minds in this great state to go through a robotics competition and UIL. And I think it's in Richardson or one of those places up there in Tarrant County. But the commissioners and I thought, why not focus on those individuals that have a disability? They're going to be part of that workforce. And so we increased the funding thanks to Courtney and Jen Troke and all her team, Debbie Carlson and Cheryl Fuller, and of course, Ed Cerna, for allowing us to be able to do that. So now we have portions of that grant go specifically to fund students that have a hearing disability, and they like to use the word deaf. Again, that's amazing on what we're doing. Again, being proactive. That's the Texas approach, is being proactive. And then, of course, the coding camp for girls and some of the things that we've been able to do. This bracelet that I wear is my name in binary number. From a young girl, Clear Lake College, we identified her and she made a bracelet for me, and it's my name in binary, it's my initials in binary number. Thank you, Texas workforce. Thank you, community colleges. Thank you, ISDs. Thank you, EDCs, for all you do to make my job so much easier. I take so much pride in helping those individuals that need our help. Keep in mind that every individual early on, I should say, while they're going through junior high and high school, keep in mind that everyone has an opportunity to go to college. And we should make sure that the trades, those CTE programs and the healthcare, that you can be successful without a four-year degree. Keep that in mind. Give individuals options and not alternatives. I know of Jared Stevens, who went through the cybersecurity program that Mary York and her high demand and Robert Andrade put together. And we have Jared Stevens, who went to A&M for a semester, but decided he had to come back to South Texas. They put a program together, and in 8 weeks, he received 4 CompTIA certifications. Jared Stevens now works at Boone's Allen in San Diego, and they would have given him more money if he had had a 4-year degree. Jared Stevens started at $108,000 with the CTE, or I should say an industry recognized credential. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for what you do. Thank each and every one of you. I like taking this opportunity to be the cheerleader for all the great work that you all do. I know there's a Miss Jasmine Hernandez and Miss Verial, and of course the folks in Texarkana and the folks in Central Texas, Panhandle and East Texas, and the West Texas area that do such great work in promoting at an early age options that individuals have. I love all of you. I wish I was there with you. You're going to hear from great panelists like Mahalia, how she's working with Wyndham and how we're able to use some of our services for those individuals that are behind bars. Even Governor Abbott has said, everyone deserves a second chance. Don't we all agree? So thank you. I don't want to take any more of your time. You have an excellent agenda today, as you did yesterday. Good to hear from my friends on all the great work that's happening. But let's be cheerleaders on all the great work and accomplishment. There's nothing wrong with that, because we put in a lot of hard work. And Matt, thank you yesterday for saying, you're right. We, as an agency and as a team, touch the lives of people that we'll never meet. So thank you for that. So Mary, I'll turn it back over to you. I know Christina DeWitty is going to be introducing some folks, but again, the one-pagers that you provide to everyone, thank you for that, Mary. Thank you for providing the tools. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at what we can do to and areas that we've never reached out to. For those individuals that are behind bars, providing them with the literature that they need. All they got is time. Let's provide them with the tools needed to be successful. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. We not only appreciate you being with us today, but your passion for the work being done here at TWC in partnership with our allies throughout the state. I know you touched on being a referee, but seriously, I can't believe you weren't a cheerleader, because and you mentioned that at the end, I feel pumped up. I feel like we're all pumped up to start today. You are a great champion for all of the work being done, not only here at TWC, but throughout the state, to help people succeed in their careers. And
Thank you.
And when they succeed, as Governor Abbott frequently says, Texas succeeds. So I can't think of a better way for us to have kicked off the morning. So thank you
Well,
for taking
thank
the time
you.
to be with
So-
us.
Thank you. Now I can take back my suit because I was borrowing it from Dillard's. And I'm glad that you said Texas Workforce Commission. I tell people, and people have heard this before, but everybody thinks that I work at Time Warner Cable. My dad thinks I work at Time Warner Cable, but I keep telling him I work at TWC, Texas Workforce Commission, Dad. Thank you for the nice words, Mary. And again, it's so easy when you have such great people and true testament. It's obvious by the number of participants today and those that unfortunately couldn't make it, but everyone does such great work. So thank you.
Well, and thank you for your interest in watching, popping in yesterday. I know that you had a chance to hear some of those testimonials directly as you referenced today. And I hope you'll be able to pop in occasionally with us today. I know you've got a busy schedule, but that this is all information that we're proud of, and we want to make sure we get out to people. So thanks so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm pumped up for today. Before we jump into today's topics, Emily Lawley is going to give us a quick overview of the day's agenda. Emily currently serves as the Manager of Education and Workforce Development Outreach within the Office of Employer Initiatives here at TWC. And I know many of you know Emily, but prior to coming to TWC in 2015, Emily was a member of the Economic Development and Tourism team within the Office of the Governor, where I myself came from. So Emily, are you ready to take it away?
Yes, good morning, Mary. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. And thank you, Commissioner Alvarez, again for those words. As always, it is a great way to start the day when we can start it with you. So thank you so much. So I hope everyone enjoyed yesterday. Today promises to be just as wonderful and filled with encouraging information and examples of how community partners have utilized these TWC programs in their own organizations to benefit their communities. So today we are going to be delivering information regarding the high demand job training program and Texas Industry Partnership, as well as registered apprenticeship, AEL, or adult education and literacy. And then we will also be getting a legislative update. And at the end of the today's event, we will be hearing from Commissioner Aaron Demerson to close out our conference. So enjoy, and thank you again for joining us this morning.